on social media. You can get involved as we look ahead now to the final round of matches in the Six Nations coming up this weekend on DAB Digital Radio, of course, as well across Pembrokeshire. So let's just recap what happened this weekend in the Six Nations. England beating Italy by 47 points to 24. France with that spectacular win in Ireland, 42-27. And Wales fighting back but going down 35-29 in Murrayfield in Edinburgh against Scotland. And I think that's where we will start. So Fraser, Matt Sherritt's second game in his interim spell. What did you make of that Wales performance?
I didn't quite share the wave of positivity that a lot of Welsh fans seem to, actually, Ben. I do appreciate in the last 25 minutes we did really come back into it and came away with two bonus points, our first points at the champ. Oh no, we had a point in Italy as well, sorry. But I thought for 55 minutes it was dreadful. I thought we lacked maybe the structure and attack that we'd shown against Ireland. And defensively, we were carved open far too easily. The fourth Scottish try just smacked of panic and a team really that lacked experience and composure on that stage. You know, when they should have been trying to solidify things a bit to give away a try like that, I thought was inexplicable. So I thought, as well as Scotland played, I thought it was too easy for them. I will say that once again, if you look at positives, Jack Morgan, outstanding. You know, it must be a rare time when he would be in contention for player of the tournament, despite potentially in a team that could lose every game. And then you can say that Scotland switched off in the last quarter, but we did at least show attacking threat and thrust that hasn't been there in the last 12 months. We did show that again, and we did run in tries. So that is a positive to be taken. But, you know, if we're going to challenge England this Saturday, we simply can't afford to be as loose as we were and as poor as we were defensively in the first hour, because they will punish you. They showed that against Italy yesterday. They do have strong finishes. They will punish us.
And we will come to the weekend's matches in just a sec. Gordon, what was your take? And a question, I'm just picking up on Fraser's point there, that had it ended after 55 minutes, Wales would have been well beaten. The question I'd ask, though, would the fight back have happened a few weeks ago? Is that something that Matt Sherritt should get some credit for, that Wales didn't roll over on Saturday?
Yeah, you can give them credit for that. But the first 14 minutes was dire, as Fraser said. I mean, these are international rugby players at the end of the day. They're not schoolboys. They're professional rugby players. For me, seeing them kicking aimlessly down the Murrayfield pitch to the back three of, I've written their names down because I forget them, I'm that age, Kinghorn, Van der Mauer and Graham to run at you, who were, you know, they're probably the best trio in the Six Nations at counter-attacking, and they certainly did exploit the Welsh defence. They cut him open to shreds, and we just need to play in the right areas. I mean, there was that where the fullback tried to keep the ball in from touch. Yeah. Blair Murray, what are you doing in your own half doing that? Ben Thomas knocks on, centre comes through, thank you very much. Another 7 points on the board. You can't be doing that at any level of rugby, never mind international rugby. So you're playing catch-up. Yes, give them credit for that. They've got to play a lot tighter against England. I mean, kick for touch, have a line out, reset. You know, they weren't doing any of that. They were giving the opposition a chance to run at them. You can't do it at that level, at any level. So, yes, they have shown signs of improvements in attack. They have. I mean, that was a lovely try. The try that Blair Murray scored with the chip over the top. Yeah. That was used sensibly. But you know, we've got to be a lot more streetwise. We have improved, but we've got to be a lot more streetwise against the favourites England next Saturday.
When he got the job on an interim basis, I think Matt Sherritt was very keen to distance himself from the job on a full-time basis. What do we think of it? Have you seen anything in these two games that makes you think they should be sticking with him, or do you still, Fraser, think it needs to be someone from outside who gets the job full-time?
Well, there's certainly been improvement in Wales in the last two games, but without being cutting, it hasn't been difficult to improve Wales, has it? He's simply by selecting players in the right position, selecting an outside half, you know, it's been a major step forward. I would still be cautious at this stage for all the positivity that has come out and for us saying you're taking a step forward there. You know, there is this new coach effect, isn't it? It can have a bounce. It certainly did for Ireland. There was a bit of resurgence there, commitment. It does freshen things up, and he is a good coach, and he's done a good job at Cardiff. I think maybe after this weekend we'll get a better idea on that. But one doesn't make a summer. We can't have a couple of good performances where we appeared a bit revitalised. It's got to be done over long term, hasn't it? So, I would be hesitant to say that yet. I wait to see the weekend, because he's had the initial honeymoon period, if it lasted long, I suppose, in the home game against Ireland.
Yeah, I mean,
the home game against Ireland, I didn't think he could lose that day.
No.
I didn't think came in short notice. He had a few days with the squad. Even if Wales had been hammered, I don't think he would have taken any blame. But there was no real question marks over the performance against Ireland. There's now question marks for the first time in his very short reign after Scotland. So we'll see how it pans out for England. See if he and the team learn from that first half of Murrayfield.
The danger is, if it does happen on Saturday, Wales beating England, and it's happened before, it has.
We know, yeah.
If that happens, then everybody forgets about everything that's happened in the past.
Yeah,
it's gone. But we beat England.
We spoke about 2007 when you were earlier, didn't we? 2007, we were there. We beat England the final day,
right.
And I think Gareth Jenkins in charge at the time, and I think prior to that England game, there was talk of we should even bother going to the World Cup that year, and then a day later we talked about winning the flipping thing. That didn't
what
work
happened?
out.
Yeah, what happened?
That didn't work out, obviously. But it really did mask a terrible championship.
The Welsh public are. They're so finicky. It's we'll just have to wait and see on
the
that.
stereophonic song strings.
He steadied the ship that was sinking anyway. To be fair to him.
Yeah.
I don't feel I got a very clear answer there. What I take from both of your comments then is
that's typical from media, isn't it?
If Wales beat England on Saturday, give Sherritt the job. Is that what we're saying?
I would think he should be a serious contender.
He's got a contract with Cardiff Blues, mate.
Yeah,
that's another issue.
I'm not going to say give him the job. No, I think it needs to be a lot more research and talks with him before that. But if he was to do a U-turn on Cardiff, and Gordon's right, he has got this contract. It won't be simplistic just to get out of that, and it's a newly signed contract as well.
And Cardiff Blues were good enough to let him go.
Yeah. But I think he should be a serious contender if he does do a U-turn on that, simply because of what I explained before. He understands that the pro game in Wales, he's worked in it, and that's vital now with everything that goes on, that you have to understand that.
I mean, Sean Holly was singing his praises, to be fair, so he's in the know with the coaches, and also he's got something about him.
Okay, well, let's see. Let's look ahead to the weekend, shall we? We were going to be joined actually by Johnny Thomas in this part of the show, because he's someone who knows very, very well what it's like to play for Wales against England in a Six Nations game. Unfortunately, Johnny has apologised. He can't be with us this evening. He's hopeful he'll be on the show next Monday and will be very welcome. He's always a welcome guest, so we send our best wishes to Johnny. Welcome back next week. But let's look ahead to the final round of matches. And France, with that win against Ireland at the weekend, go into it in pole position, don't they? Knowing a win against Scotland, first of all. And let's start there. We'll give them the title. Can we see beyond France being the champions?
I'd say no. But I think if we go back, I think it was actually one of the lockdown Six Nations.
Yes.
They were home to Scotland on a Friday night. Scotland's side not as good as this one, actually. No. Seemingly a formality, and they blew it. Look, I will say it, because I hate saying it, because it's a phrase that's been overused to death, but the old notion of you don't know which France is going to turn up.
The greatest cliche in rugby.
Never heard that one before. But
I don't think they'll make the same mistake this time.
I don't think so.
No.
I cannot see them lose. But Scotland will cause them problems, and especially
if they kick deep at those three.
Yes, yeah. And it should actually be a tremendous watch, because we've seen what France are capable of, And I think, for me, the main narrative from the Six Nations isn't that Ireland blew the Grand Slam against France on Saturday. I think, actually, France blew the Grand Slam at Twickenham last month. They had so many opportunities that day. DuPont was off the boil. Yeah. They lacked their usual accuracy. And I think if they do go on and beat Scotland and take the championship, that game in London will haunt them.
They
really
definitely
should.
Yeah, it will. No doubt about it. And I tell you what about Ireland? Because Simon Easterby is someone held with great affection by Welsh rugby fans. I think they could do a lot worse than give him the job, and I think Tom thinks the same as well. Does that defeat against France damage his chances at all, or do you think he's still very much in the mix?
To be fair, Ireland won the Triple Crown as well. Let's not be too disrespectful for him. And they lost against a very good French side on the day.
I'm just asking the question, Gordon. I like him.
Yeah, but would he want to come to Wales? That's the other question. Would he want to? He's in the prime spot now. He's with Ireland. He's been with them many years, played for them as well. He could quite very well take over from Farrell if Farrell wants to step aside after the Lions or continue. He could still stay with the Ireland squad. I don't think he would come to Wales at this moment in time.
I don't think the defeat damages his reputation as such, to be honest with you. And you got to remember that I wasn't actually that overly surprised. Ireland are a team still rebuilding a bit from that always golden era they had that culminated in the 2023 World Cup. I wasn't that impressed with them in the autumn. They weren't impressive in the first half against England, and they weren't that impressive in Cardiff. So, I thought there's still a bit of rebuilding to do there. We saw on the last game in Dublin Saturday, Peter O'Mahony, Cian Neely, that they are losing players. Now their under-20s aren't actually that strong. So I think it's a bit of a rebuilding process for Ireland. I don't think Easterby's reputation comes out harmed by that at all. But I'd be interested to see if they can return to the levels that they have done in the past few years. I think it might take a year or two for them.
Yeah. And there's going to be some... I don't know whether Andy Farrell has confirmed his backroom staff either for the Lions trip this summer. So there might be some interesting names to watch out in terms of who goes on that Lions trip. And Easterby could be a contender for that, you feel.
Certainly. Or even Sharrett.
Or even Sharrett. Who knows? So we'll have to keep an eye, and that might just change the dynamic again. Let's look ahead then to the other games. And there is something special about Wales versus England in Cardiff, isn't there? And I think Gordon is going to tell us why he is really confident of a Wales victory on Saturday. Is that right?
Where did you get that from?
You were telling us off air.
From the horse's mouth, Gordon.
You were telling us off air, and you said it last week on the show. And I think as the week's gone on, apparently...
You have to be careful what you say on this show. It gets turned with every word I say. Hey, it can happen, all right? I'm not joking. It can happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but it can happen. Because it happened in 2007. Same scenario. Wales hadn't won a game. They played England in Cardiff, and they turned him over... And that was it. The Welsh fans, we beat England. Doesn't matter about the rest, does it? And that's the mentality you're working with as well.
So will it happen, Fraser?
I'll just give you my opinion on it.
I don't know if you did actually.
I don't think so. I do expect us to cause England problems for the attacking intent we've shown in the last two games. And if you look back on England's championship, conceded 4 tries in Ireland, conceded 3 tries to Scotland, and Scotland could have had more that day, conceded 4 to France. This is a team that concedes tries. It's also a team that's finished powerfully as well. We've got to give them credit for that. Some superb tries yesterday against Italy. And the nature of our defensive display against Scotland now worries me, that they'll do more damage to them than we do, that they do more damage to us than we do to them. But I do think we'll score tries. I am confident we'll cause them problems, and I think it could be a good watch on that basis. But like I just said there, we will need to shore up because they do have runners and they do have powerful runners. So I do still fancy England, but I think we will give them a game. I think it could be a close game too.
And you mentioned 2007, and Johnny Thomas has played in some great Wales-England games over the years as well. Something special about the atmosphere in Cardiff for those games, and there have been some amazing matches over the years, haven't there? Do you think Gordon will get something special on Saturday? Well, and what's been your favourite?
I'm hoping so, Ben. Of course I'm hoping.
Would 2007...
I'm hoping for a Wales win, aren't I? I am hoping for that.
And would that game in 2007, would that be one of your favourite ones?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because of where we were at that particular time, winning the Grand Slam in 2005, and then rock bottom in 2007, and then losing all the games and only England to play, and we beat them at home, and everything's forgiven.
I was there when Johnny Thomas played in the 2005 game, the Gavin Henson
kick. 11-9
as well. Yeah. And I think that actually ended a period of I think we hadn't beaten England in that tournament. Since 1999, actually, at Wembley, but it was the
Scott
first.
Gibbs went
That's
over.
right. It was the first one in Cardiff for a long, long time, and the explosion of relief that day. I've never seen anything like the streets of Cardiff.
I mean, England are the dominant force, aren't they? Let's be honest. They could put out a second 15 that's just as strong as their first 15, to be honest with you. But they don't handle pressure very well on times, and this could be one occasion where they might be a little bit too complacent. That's what we're hoping for.
Is it written?
You're not in Cheltenham, obviously.
Is it written in the stars, Gordon?
They love to play rugger down there.
Hartbury College is only up the road, by the way. Yeah. Indeed. Okay, well, let's see. Are you going to predict a Wales win then, the three of you?
I've said it once, so let's have a laugh. Let's go for it.
Yeah, okay. Tom?
I think if England get their creative playmakers and their strong finishers, I think if Wales turn up like they did against Scotland,
We're in trouble.
It could be embarrassing.
Fraser?
No, an England win.
Yeah, I think that's where it's looking at. We've hung you out to dry there, Gordon, haven't you?
Yeah, I was, mate. I can see it.
We shall see how it goes. Final round of matches.
I'd love to say, like Kevin Keegan, I told you so.
Anyone going to be in Cardiff on Saturday?
Plenty of English supporters.
Randomly, I'm going to be in England. I'm on a stag do trip, so I might be left wishing I was in Cardiff actually. But no, I'll be trying to roll back the years.
Are you coming down to watch England v Wales?
I will be watching.
Gordon, I'm going to tell you. Yes, I am actually. I'm in Cardiff on Saturday.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah, I am.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I am in Cardiff on Saturday. Me and a couple of friends are going. We're actually going. We're having. Interesting. Fraser says he's on a stag do. We're on a stag do planning meeting on Saturday, and Cardiff was the best place to go.
Is it?
So we booked. Yes, exactly that, Gordon. We booked Cardiff as the venue to have the meeting, and then we realised that it's Wales England on the same day, so we've got a train ticket. So it could be an interesting afternoon. We were there last year as well for the same fixture. When it was at Twickenham, we actually watched that game in Cardiff, and England won narrowly last year.
That's right.
And Cardiff was buzzing, and it being one of about 2 or 3 Englishmen, so it felt like in Cardiff that day was quite tricky by the end. So we shall see how we go. Fraser, where are you going to be at the weekend? Are you allowed to say on the radio?
I will be in Liverpool, yes.
In Liverpool, okay.
But I will be watching Super Saturday, I can promise you that.
Excellent stuff. All right. Well, listen, let's take a moment and we will come back for the final part of tonight's Pure West Sport, and we'll actually round up some of the local rugby from across the county. We'll do that next on Pure West.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have traditional values.